Okay, so it's Carthage.
With every death comes honor.
Going over the new Hanzo.
With honor,
so he's got
redemption.
2 new abilities here. Got rid of Scatter Arrow, thank God. One is Lunge, which from a standing jump will take him about 8 meters forward. You can use your Storm Bow for that. Hold the charge as you go through it. You can jump into walls, jump off of walls, do a wall climb, do a jump, into a climb up the wall. Like that, and you can actually hold your bow through that holding to keep the draw. But the more exciting change is the new Rapid Fire. Rapid Fire does 80 damage per shot at his maximum arrow speed and arrow drop. Which means that it can one-shot Tracer. If you headshot Tracer with Rapid Fire, you kill her. You can also attach a recon arrow to quickly hit that all the way across the map if you need it.
Never second
You can
best.
do it as you move through any of your movement abilities as well. And it lasts for 6 seconds or 6 shots, whichever comes first. You can fire 1 shot every half second. So that's enormous damage potential. When you do the math out, if you headshot a discorded target with a rapid fire, it's a 1-shot kill on all 200 HP squishies, which is a big deal. So with that new sustained ability to do damage, with his new travel speed on his arrow, 80 to 100 meters per second, his consistency
Double kill. Triple kill.
An inspired
numbers.
Double kill.
I went off of Overwatch Gamepedia and got a bunch of stats for all the damage characters. So everybody in the offensive or defensive category I put up here. So we'll go through what each of these are. Headshot DPS, if you landed every single one of their shots in the head, this is how much damage they would do per second. Projectile size, there is no actual posted numbers that I could find for any of this. So I took a forum that I found that just listed them from largest to smallest, and I knew Junkrat's was 0.3 meters, now it's 0.2, and just kind of scaled it based off of that. Reaction distance, so I timed my own reaction time at 0.195 seconds, and then apply that to the travel speed of the projectile. So this is how far it'll travel before you even register that it's coming after you. Let's see, fall off starts. If there is damage fall off on the profile, that's what that is. Fall off ends, so the cap to it. What's up with Reapers? Does it not have? Oh, 20. Whoops. So Reaper apparently does basically no damage after 20 meters. Tracer and Bastion should both have this too. Tracer's 30 meters. Bastion's is 55 to 50. Recon 26 to 55. Recon is 50. Sombra is the last one that I messed up, and she is 25. All right. So what I did, damage fall off, ending damage. I'll probably go back and add this, but it's kind of irrelevant. It's just stats. The spread is using the spread angle on here and calculate it out for how many meters of spread it spreads for every meter it travels. For any of the targets that rely, or any of the targets that have spread, any of the hit scan targets that have spread, I used their effective range onto a meter squared target, meaning as that spread comes out, how long until the circle area of the spread is double the area of the target, the 1 meter squared target. And that's those. The only character I think that was actually limited by their damage drop off to reach 50% was McCree. And then projectile heroes, what I did was I said if they fired their weapon directly at the center of a meter squared target, how long or how far away would you have to be for that target to get completely out of that projectile's collision point? So each of the projectiles have a collision box around them. hit scans are very, very small. They're basically negligible. So that incorporates travel time of the weapon plus reaction time of the defensive character, the character receiving fire. Uh, and that's how I got the effective range there. So you'll see like Genji, for instance, 18 meters because his projectiles are reasonably fast. They're kind of big. Um, if you're within about 18 meters, you're probably not going to get out of range of a perfectly thrown shuriken in time before it hits you. If you were a meter squared size target. Obviously, most of the characters' heads are much smaller than that, but there's no measurement of that I could find online, so I just used a standard meter square target. So the reason why I think Hanzo is going to be really good, one, he can one-shot Tracer, or he can one-shot any squishy with a headshot on Discord with the rapid fire. But the characters that I think is going to replace more often, that's going to be McCree and Soldier. So Soldier is known for his sustained damage, and I think that's where Hanzo kind of pushes in now. What actually helps him push in on that isn't necessarily the rapid fire, which does help quite a bit. It's the increased speed of the Stormbow. So previously, back when it was at 80 meters per second, it was slower than May's Icicle, for instance, and that number is around 22. So 19 versus 22. Um, that's really negligible. You probably wouldn't even notice the difference between 19 meters and 22 meters in game. You do definitely notice the difference between 19 meters and 30 meters, though. So Hanzo is able to put out sustained damage, sustained burst damage even, on much longer range targets than Soldier is. At that point, Soldier's actually starting to get some damage drop off, which really hurts his output, especially with this new Brigitte meta coming in, where armor is going to be a lot more important. Soldier 76 takes a huge dive in DPS when you start doing armor. So his normal DPS that I had was 9 shots times the 19 damage that he can do, which yeah, and then doubled for headshot. So body shot 171 versus 342 headshot damage. So we take that down to 14 because armor mitigates up to 5. Extra parentheses. And Soldier, if you still landed all 9 shots in the head at max bloom, which would be nutty, deals 252 damage versus Hanzo's 245 that he would deal for landing 1 shot. So that's a huge difference when armor's in play, which means that Hanzo's way better at tank busting if they have any armored tanks or Brigitte running around. Comparably, if you were to say land uh, equals, I don't think it's reasonable to expect you to land 9 headshots at max bloom on Soldier 76. We'll say you land 4 times 38 plus 5 times 19 is 207. Make sure to parentheses these up right. I don't want to pollute my data here. Or if I could do basic multiplication, that probably help too. There we go. 247. So basically, if he lands about half of his shots as headshots, half his shots as body shots, he does as much damage as Hanzo landing 1 shot. Um, add in the vertical mobility, the burst mobility, if that makes sense, to get distance away from flankers, his ability to scat out flankers with recon arrow, his ability to one-shot flankers so that healing can't save them, is what I think is going to make him better than 76 against most comps now. The rapid fire is huge. If you land 2 headshots per second that you get to fire for the full 6 shots, you dealt 960 damage there. You killed basically 2 tanks. If you were damage boosted, you outright killed 2 tanks. At worst, you just dealt 480 damage to a shield. If you do a full charge shot, then switch on rapid fire, shot, 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 it breaks Winston bubble in less than 3 seconds. So huge amount of damage output. That's not even damage amped. If you damage amp it, the numbers go through the roof. Uh, we're talking half a Rhine barrier in less than 3 seconds. Um, nutty. So I think his damage output is enormous now, sustained damage output even, because you get rapid fire every 11 seconds, which means you're probably going to get about twice a team fight. It has ult level damage output per second. Let's see. It's comparable to Pulse Bomb in terms of damage. It's comparable to uh, it's better damage than hitting every shot from Fan the Hammer. Just hitting two headshots with it is better than damage from every shot of Fan the Hammer. It's better than Rocket Punch. It's better than the Junkrat Mine combo. It's better than hitting shit with Bastion Tank. It even out damages his own Dragon Strike. One of the great things with the damage profile is too, his Stormbow does 125 damage if full charge shot. You can hit the full charge shot, switch in a rapid fire, fire one more shot with 80 damage for a total of 205, and kill a squishy. So if you manage to spam shot in an arrow and hit a target, you can switch on rapid fire, use your lunge to get close enough to where they can't dodge it, and finish them instantly. And there's nothing they can really do about it. They just got to stand there and die. So I think his damage output is enormous now. His pickoff potential is still where it was before, but he gets to stay in the mid fight. He doesn't just get that pick off and then win or lose and maybe get a scatter in there. Hanzo is terrifying now. And I see between him and Brigitte no purpose to ever run McCree again, honestly. Hanzo beats McCree in pretty much every engagement except for the one where McCree gets a flashbang onto him. And with Hanzo's new movement ability, he can actually completely dodge the flashbang by bouncing back. So I don't see any reason to run McCree uh, with Brigitte's shield stun being better than his flashbang, with Hanzo's damage output profile being better across the board, Hanzo's new ability giving him one-shot kill potential, which McCree never had. So I think he replaces McCree outright, and I think he replaces Soldier 76 on any map that needs vertical mobility or has some extended sight lines, so like Junkertown or Kings Row. So let me know what you think. Thanks.